All right, we've got a good one for you today. Another surf report for next week, which is the 20th of June to the 26th. We go from Thursday to Wednesday, so midweek to midweek. This week, we've got a lot of illumination happening. Sun in its maximum illumination in its cycle, and then the moon in its maximum in cycle. I have a lot to explain. But those two happen pretty much simultaneously within 29 hours of each other, to be exact. And you can see that represented here. You have the full moon in Capricorn 29 hours after the sun goes into Cancer, summer solstice. And we'll go through what all that means, but we have dual maximums at the same time at the onset of our week. So the I-Ching, I think, spells it out pretty nicely, and it's called the commander for short, but it's a certain kind of commander that is important, and we're going to go through all that as well. And to give you a little hint, dreambot is back. Things feel a little off. Yeah, you wouldn't say. But number one word, that's actually a typo. Number one word in the dreambot, a collective unconscious, is mom, not mother, but same idea. High congruency score. And we're going to be doing this again for the solution. So this is the influence. We're going to try to package all this together so that you can know what to look for emotionally, feeling wise, influence wise, and then we'll also triangulate for the solution so you know how to best navigate this with behaviors. All right, here we go. Whoops. And a big shout out to CJ Star Monkey 73 once again, second week in a row at number one. Well, last week was tied, but this week, best comment goes to CJ Star Monkey 73. Uses this comment to explain the handle name, and CJ, the initials. I actually have the same exact initials for school back in the day, long time ago. And CJ says 73, my birth year. Well, I was close, 72. So, but anyway, great comment, and shout out to you, CJ, 2 weeks in a row. Congratulations. And guess what? It is dreambot time. And I'm going to zoom in. All right. So just to point out, I am extremely happy with how this is panning out and healing. Is better than I estimated. And I can't say that it's completely healed so far, but I have confirmed with a certain set of confirmer data that it is healed enough to be able to start publishing this. Now, what you're going to see in the future is these surge scores as we get more and more consistent data coming in terms of how many instances of all these words in the dictionary are getting in the dreams. Then you're going to see these surge scale scores go down just a little bit, but it's still relevant, but more relevant to each other. And you can see the word mom is far and away much higher surge score. And that's meaningful. Number one surging word in the collective unconscious is mom. And I think that is a direct correlation to sun. Well, both. We're approaching the full moon representing mother, the great mother, sun going into Cancer. Yeah, it's perfect. Now, I also wanted, because it's not, completely healed, permanently, the dreambot, I just wanted to throw a few words out just to kind of see some archetypes that are showing up. I'm not saying that these are all one, but mom, being, husband, June makes sense, right? We're in June. House, work, night. And now night probably should be part of the grouping of the blue arrows, in my opinion. So the blue arrows are more of, things are different, things are unusual. And so let me just read these off. Few different things, check off, feel. But then it says reality will sort. So it's like things are off, but they're going to sort it out. They're going to sort out. Reality will sort it out. All right, let's get back to our astrology. We have our eclipse cycle. We're about in the middle of it, but if you remember, we're going to see the first of 2 full moons in Capricorn. And you Capricorns should be elated at this. This is the first of 2, and we're right about in the middle of our Aries eclipse cycle. So in the energy window from roughly 3 weeks, emotional mayhem. That's another video that I did. Now we get into this week. Not a lot to report from this venue, just that we have come out of the cocktail party window and into the emotional mayhem. Also this week, the dominant energy is the commander. That's the red. And I'll talk about why that is. But that energy starts to crest off later in the week, while the emotional mayhem is strong, but not dominant. And it'll get much more dominant with a massive trine that I'll show. So we have a cosmic dance right now happening on Thursday the 20th. It is summer solstice, and summer solstice is the cosmic climax of the solar cycle. And it's indicative of the longest day, shortest night. Obviously, in the southern hemisphere, it's the opposite, but it's the turning point in the cosmic dance. It's the sun's radiance is at its zenith. It's a time of signifying abundance, growth, soulful exploration, and for a lot of folks, celebration. And then sun goes into Cancer and squares off, still with a square to Neptune. So there's a lot of water there. It's the crab's cauldron. There you go. And I'm going to have another cauldron a little bit later, but this is the wellspring of emotion. And we're seeking security, clinging to the familiar. And she's intuitive, empathic, and deeply sentimental. So we have the zenith of the solar cycle right there at 3:50 p.m. Central Daylight Time, summer solstice. Sun goes into Cancer. And then within a few hours, Friday, moon is going to make it into Capricorn and create a full moon exactly at 1 degree Capricorn, 7 minutes. So we have on the one side the maximum on the sun. I'm not saying that it's a solar maximum. That kind of uses those same words. Solar apex of its cycle, the longest day, that would be accurate. And then we have the brightest moon, the fullest moon, the exact circle as indicated by the picture. The full moon in Capricorn is the zenith of ambition. So we have 2 zeniths on the 2 biggest energetic influences in the astrology, moon and sun, and both are at their zenith. So Achiever's lunar spotlight is a beacon of determination, illuminating the path to success, a call to the rise of the challenges and claim one's place at the top. It's near the apex of light, which is the summer solstice as well. The cosmic climax of the solar cycle, this creates the empathic commander because we have the nurturer sun in Cancer and we have the achiever the goal setter, the leader moon in Capricorn. So you put those together, you get this celestial alignment that represents the convergence of two powerful energies: the nurturing, soulful essence of the sun in Cancer, and the ambitious, goal-oriented driver of the full moon in Capricorn. It is the time when the sovereign within is called forth to ascend to new heights, harnessing the emotional depth and intuitive wisdom of the nurturer while embracing the discipline and structure of the achiever. All right. And that's happening very early on in our surf week. That stays strong for, a few days, since both of those are at the zenith. And now we're going to get the crab's cauldron. This is more focused on the sun and Cancer with a stellium. And we're getting the alchemist's crucible, a vessel which diverse elements are subjected to intense heat and pressure, catalyzing into profound transformation. This is a wellspring of emotions seeking security. And we have this Plutonian alignment. This is where the sun in conjunct Pluto goes exact at 1 degree 33 minutes respectively. Pluto is in retrograde in Aquarius. And that makes this big transformation hot seat. And in conjunct sort of rubs both of these planets. So Sun and Pluto are rubbing together, making this alchemist crucible, forging an emotionally charged energy that seeks to transmute the familiar into something radically new. Right on. And do you think that's going to bubble out into humanity, into reality? 100%. And then on Sunday, so it's a little calmer. We have nothing but trines. Still do have a very strong in conjunct with the sun and Pluto. So that's very important, very transformative, even though it looks very triney and easy energy. We have 5 water signs. We have 5 planets in water signs. And so that makes it very much more emotional, nurturing, connecting, mystical. And then on Monday, we are looking at the Venus sextile Mars. I want to point that one out. Venus now is really exactly in between Mercury and the Sun, conjunct with both. A loose conjunction, but it's a stellium in Cancer. But the main player here is Venus sextile Mars. And it goes exact, I think, on the 28th, a little after our surf week is over. But it gets stronger and stronger as we go. And this is adding to this nurturing, comfort, togetherness sort of feel. It's the lover's hearth, a sacred space where the warmth of affection and stability of commitment intertwine. It brings together the nurturing emotional essence of Venus in Cancer with the grounded sensual energy of Mars in Taurus. This creates a harmonious and supportive environment for love to flourish. And the only conflicted energy really in the chart is that in conjunct over to Pluto. So it's very transformative along with this. And the shearing is seeking comfort, stability with Mars. Mars in Taurus wants stability. But comfort is commensurate with stability. Comfort is in Cancer. And it's transforming. So enhanced emotional connection and intimacy, increased sensual pleasure and physical satisfaction, potential for long-lasting committed relationships, but there might be a tendency to prioritize comfort and familiarity over growth or that transformation. So you'll see, what's that called? Homeostasis. Homeostasis says Even when positive change is starting to happen, say in a family or in a couple or in an interpersonal relationship, that one or both or all of the parties use homeostasis to keep things the same. Homeostasis might get very strong while Pluto is doing the transformative work here. Tuesday, the 25th, this is just midday, and not a lot of change here. We still have all the alignments intact that we have talked about. And then by Wednesday, this is the height of the trine. So we have stellium in Cancer, trine to a stellium in Pisces. Stellium meets stellium with an ease. So we have a mega water trine. It's 6 water signs, and we have a kaleidoscope of watery energy. The soulful storyteller is the Cancer stellium because of Mercury. We have Mercury trine Saturn, which is very close. Actually, that's the exact moment. So this is 1:09 p.m. Central Daylight Time on the 26th. Mercury trine Saturn is exact, and that's the bridge of wisdom, harmonious link between the mind and the structure of reality. Clear, crisp, ideal communication. It's the cosmic messenger's wit meets the wise elder's experience. So great poise interpersonally, good storyteller, ideal communication, all those things. But the overarching archetype of all this stellium, trine, all this stellium is the dreamer's kaleidoscope. And it kind of looks like she's got a bottle of wine chugging it down, but it's looking into a kaleidoscope and represents a colorful tapestry woven from the threads of emotion, imagination, curiosity, and wisdom. It invites the soul to explore the many facets of life experiences while maintaining a strong connection to its intuitive and spiritual core. With this trine, this megatrine, you might feel heightened creativity, adaptability, and mental agility. You might feel a deep emotional and compassionate connections. You might feel spiritual growth and potential for profound insights. But watch out for a tendency to get lost in the dream world, maybe disconnected from reality a bit. Emotional overwhelm might be, some of you might feel like you're drowning. And because of the trine, may feel like a positive drown, like you're in this. And what would be the outcome of that? Maybe imagination or creativity might come out of that in a positive sense of drowning in emotion. All right, so here's the CIRF report. Here's the I-Ching. We have hexagram 7, organized discipline, but with change line 5 comes the commander. The most successful leader is not the one who triumphs on the battlefield, but the one who is able, through strength of discipline and inner power, to achieve consolation without spilling blood. So it's influencing without demanding. It's influencing without threatening. So more specifically, on change line 5, we have confidence in the leadership. You might feel a surge of confidence in your ability to lead with fairness and wisdom. There's an inner assurance that you're making the right decisions. You might have a sense of justice with that. You'll have respect and trust. You likely experience a sense of trust from others, feeling supported. Overall, according to the I-Ching line 5, you get this feeling of empowered and responsible, calm and organized, respected and trustworthy. So let's go ahead and summarize this whole thing. Okay. There it is. Remember, we had the dreambot. I initially on this slide, I had the picture of the commander. Was obviously a male, but then the dreambot really helped me put it all together. It really is the divine mother is more appropriate, the divine feminine as the commander, because we're getting more of a protective commander and a practical nurturer. Empathy is a big part of this commanding, not just directing and threatening. So the solstice sun enters into Cancer as the moon in early Capricorn quickly develops into full illumination. The two dominant astronomical cycles are both at a maximum this week. It's the empathetic leader, the protective commander, the practical nurturer that become our collective's shared experience. We may all feel this, or we might see a rise of a leader who is that, the empathic leader. By the end of the week, the stellium in Cancer trines to Pisces, making it much more emotional, imaginative, dreamy, connected, transpersonal, and overall feeling based. So there you have it. The commander, and it might be more feminine commander, but commander nonetheless. So it's time now to hit the solution. So we put that change line in, we get 29, dangerous depths. Now we're not saying that we are going into dangerous depths. What we're saying is we're trying to look in hexagram 29 for behaviors. Those who respond to dangerous conditions most effectively are those who can establish an inner bubble of calm in the midst of chaos. So the first one is to maintain composure in crisis. Stay calm and collected no matter what's happening. Persevere and persisting in the face of challenges, and do not give up. And that's something that the Capricorn full moon will help you with, not giving up. Learning from adversity, emotional regulation, courageous action, resourcefulness. That's all from hexagram 29 of the I-Ching in behaviorally. All right, now let's convert. And obviously the biggest energy here is the Capricorn full moon. And we have hexagram 10. And because it's so close to the galactic center, I'm using Ophiuchus sidereal. So, hexagram 10 of the rave is the treading. That just sounds like the I-Ching that we just read, but this is the opportunist. Line 4, the acceptance of norms until a successful transformation can be engendered. That makes sense, right? We had the Pluto in conjunct Sun alignment that is sort of shearing each other and creating a transformation, maybe a deep one, the subconscious one you don't really recognize right away, possibly. But it doesn't mean we just go ahead and change all your behaviors now to to seize the day, basically. So here's what it says: transformation that is transcendence to a higher code, but the maintaining of behavioral patterns until the right moment and the opportunity for transformation. So we don't go changing your behaviors with the hope that we're going to transform. In fact, the downside says altering one's behavioral patterns in order to take advantage of opportunities. We are going to be changing. We have the option of changing, but not for getting something, not especially for ego needs. I'm going to explain all this a little bit further when we get the solution slide, and we're going to do that now. Here's the solution. All right, we had the abysmal, and this isn't, again, not representative of the feeling of hopelessness or surrender. It's the action of when things are dire, if they do get dire, stay calm and keep pressing through. That's the point of I-Ching 29. And this picture here is a person carrying their cross through the desert. Is don't go about changing just in the hope of getting something. Still carry your cross, bear it, but when it is time to change, the I-Ching says you're allowed to. In fact, Sidereal Ophiuchus says that this loves change. Ophiuchus tries new things. And so there is stay the same until the transformation. And when you see the transformation, boom, make the change. The full moon is celebratory, high illumination, unpredictable, all that. Quite a dichotomy of behaviors awaits. The I-Ching and the rave seem to directly agree in that we need to persevere, maintain composure, and endure. Keep going. The rave goes on to warn about forms of opportunity taking. If it feels like a game, don't change behaviors to seize the day. Instead, keep accepting the norms and keep doing what you're doing. Don't change. Ironically, Ophiuchus affords us the strong archetype of changing it up and trying new things. And of course, the solar and lunar apexes say to celebrate, gather together, have fun, and or sacrifice, do a ceremony, sacrifice something that no longer serves you. The solution is meant to bring attention to the transform versus keeping things the same continuum. And it really is forcing us to balance those two things adequately this week. And it is going to be profound because you've got full illumination on one side of the zodiac, full illumination on the other side of the zodiac in an opposition. So that forces us to try to balance it out. So define what in you needs to remain the same and that which needs to change and transform it. But remember to not transform things for ego's benefit. Recommend changing to align with your highest purpose and to the life you are meant to live. That's an important one. Foot stomper. We're not just changing for the sake of changing or to get something, to gain material advantage. We are changing to get on to our highest purpose. And when you change, Ophiuchus might want to change everything, and that's not indicated here. Some things you're going to keep the same. But overall, ensure the continuum of transforming versus keeping things the same. We want that in a balanced way. So some things will stay the same, some things will change. Make sure it all matches your values, your value sets. All right, guess what I got now? We have the herb of the week, the herb of Venus in Capricorn, and Venus is not front and center. We'd have the Venus sextile Mars, but that's not the primary energy. Venus is there because of balance. She is the balance planet, and this is the herb of Capricorn. So we have a full moon in Capricorn. So it's all indicating Yarrow. Yarrow's name, Achillea, stems from Greek mythology and Achilles. As the story goes, Chiron taught Achilles the knowledge of healing with Yarrow. Leading his soldiers during the Battle of Troy, Achilles treated their wounds with Yarrow powder. Reinforce your Achilles heel with intent, working through protective Yarrow. I encourage you to take a snapshot so you can read it all. I'm not going to read this whole thing. And make sure you know that we're not here giving medical advice. You really do need to do your own research and make sure that these are appropriate for you and appropriate for your consumption. But Yarrow is extremely powerful for harmonizing lymph and blood, yin and yang, and the chakras, especially the throat. Use Yarrow to energetically knit or repair and align the energy body and let her guide your truth before and during speaking. Yarrow twigs can be used to divine and read the I-Ching in place of or with the coins. This was crafted for humanity with love by Sean Elizabeth Nelson. Thank you, Sean. All right. Here's our influence, the commander, the feminine version of the commander, the nurturing leader, the empathetic warrior protector. Right. And then here's our solution. Part of you is going to stay the same. Part of you is going to change. So do that methodically, do it consciously and mindfully, and make sure it matches your highest values. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. And we will see you next week. Namaste.